opinions of the staff, management, or ownership of this station.
It's time to get on the right path with Right Path Real Estate Radio with Jason Bible. Get the answer to your question that's keeping you from taking action and succeeding today. Get ready. The guide that will put your fears behind you is on the air now. Taking calls at 713-785-1817. Toll free 877-881-0271. Now here's your host, Jason Bible.
Welcome to the show. Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate. We're taking your questions, 713-785-1817. If you want to get on our property buyers list, these are properties that are investment grade properties. They're not retail ready. So if you're a landlord, you're a flipper, text properties to 95577. If you want a reminder about the show, text listen to 95577, and you'll get a reminder every day about 5 minutes before the show starts, and there's a link in there where you can listen live online. So that should get you taken care of with regards to the show. So like every Monday, I like to talk a little bit about what I did this weekend and how it relates to real estate. We had a great weekend this weekend. My son and I left Friday for Webelos in the Woods. So Webelos is Cub Scouts. That's where a bunch of these little guys, they go out and learn life skills while camping and, visiting museums and all that kind of stuff. Well, Webelos in the Woods, and I got to tell you, I was a Boy Scout. I did not make Eagle. I was a Life Scout. And Boy Scouts has changed a bunch in 20 years. And it was fascinating. This Webelos in the Woods was my first introduction to the new Scout stuff. And Webelos in the Woods it's essentially an interview process where the kids who are going from Cub Scouts to Boy Scouts interview all of these different scout troops. I think we interviewed 5 or 6. I think there were 8 or 9 there. There were a ton of folks there. It was a really great time. Got to meet a lot of people. It's amazing. I follow a lot of politics. I follow a lot of stuff that's going on in finance, in the world of finance and economics. And it's fascinating. In those worlds, it's all gloom and doom, and there's these two Americas, and the world's terrible and all that. And then you spend a weekend with these folks, and it's a completely different mindset. It's a completely different change. I mean, if you look at the parents, and that was mostly who I was interacting with, were the parents, and the boys would go out. Cub Scouts would meet with the Boy Scouts and talk about what they do in camping and high adventure and hiking and mountain biking, shooting, all this great stuff that they do. And we would sit down and chat with the dads, and it's amazing to me how many of these guys are, working a high-powered corporate job somewhere or run a business, who are also, on the weekend, they're, if they're not doing scouting stuff, they're training for a triathlon or a marathon or some big bike race, or they're CrossFit people. And then they're also committed to, the Boy Scouts and helping their sons, take it to the next level. When you really get into what Boy Scouts is, it's really a leadership training program. That's really what it is, from the age of about 10 and a half and 11 to 18. So it's fascinating to me. You watch the news and you see riots and all this nonsense, and you look around your group of friends and your household and go, what is everybody so angry about? I don't get it. And then you spend weekends with people like this who are just trying to take it to the next level in every part of their life. It's pretty incredible. And you get around a group of folks like that, it's a lot like our mastermind group. But in any case, so we had a great time doing this camping thing this weekend and talking about Boy Scouts and what that transition looks like. Cameron, my oldest son, is not eligible until next year. He has to meet some requirements and then has to be a certain age, and there's all these kind of leadership things you have to do to be able to transition into Boy Scouts. But to do it early, let me put it that way, to do it a year and a half early, and that's actually what we're working on right now. My wife is actually working on it. But in any case, one of the fascinating things one of the Scoutmasters said, and a Scoutmaster is the lead adult, if you will, that assists in the management. They're not the doer. They're really kind of more the management, kind of the head, if you will, of that particular troop. And so we're chatting with this one scoutmaster, and he said, he said, I stole this from somebody. He said, but I think it's a perfect way to describe what Boy Scouts is. And he said, what Boy Scouts is it allows these young men, young boys, to fail in a safe place. And I thought, that is excellent. So, for example, most troops who are what they call boy-led troops. In other words, the boys are the ones that do all the shopping, for breakfast and dinner at the events. They manage all the camp stuff and all that. So, inevitably, if the adults aren't as involved, really the adults are there to make sure nobody gets hurt. And to lead to a certain extent. But one of the fascinating things is when you watch these boys cook. So they were telling stories, the scoutmasters telling stories to the adults of Weeblo children, in other words, the kids who are going to eventually ascend into the Boy Scouts, that you've got to allow these young guys to fail. And he said, just this morning, our boys were making pancakes for all the boys in their troop, about 50 or 60 kids. And they said we sat there and watched them cook, make sure they didn't set anything on fire or blow themselves up, with all the propane and gas stuff that they use. But they said they watched them make pancakes, and they got about halfway through the pancakes, and they could tell they were sticking. And so one of the boys said, so are we supposed to add the oil before we put the pancakes in or after? Like, well, pancakes are sticking and they're burning, so what do you think? Well, we probably should add the oil. Yep. So about half the pancakes the troop had to eat were all burned. But that's a critical life skill to learn at 10, 12, 13 years old, and it doesn't cost you anything other than a terrible breakfast. Or if you decide not to eat it, you're just going to go hungry till lunch. Another scoutmaster was telling a story about how his son is completely responsible for packing his own bag for the weekend, decided that he wasn't going to bring his sleeping bag. Now, if you were in South Texas this weekend, we actually got and I'm going to use this in quotes because we have people that listen all over the country. It was a cold front this weekend, which means it got down to maybe in the high 50s. So he didn't bring a sleeping bag with him. He said, I'll sleep on top of my bed mat. And of course, Dad said, okay, you do what you got to do. So son froze his little tail off all night. I think it got into the high 40s. So when it gets that cold, it won't kill you, won't go into frostbite, but you will shiver all night. So next morning, son wakes up, goes over to his dad and says, Dad, I think I should have brought my sleeping bag. You wouldn't happen to have just brought my sleeping bag and didn't tell me. And he goes, well, son, I did. So he said all of these lessons are things that they need to learn as they're maturing, as they're growing as future leaders. And I'll tell you what, you need to find a real estate group that does the exact same thing. You need to find a place where if you fail, it's not going to kill you. Where you can fail and it's not going to bankrupt you. And I think that's what a lot of people miss out on when they join all these different real estate education groups is, oh yeah, just go out and do this or that. Just go put all these houses under contract and, raise some private money even though you don't know what you're doing. And then all of a sudden everybody's losing tens of thousands of dollars. Or, hey, go put your money into these multifamily deals, these private placement memorandums, and then all of a sudden those deals start falling apart and you lose $50, $60, $100, $200,000. And trust me, we've seen it. It's really heartbreaking. When you're first starting out in real estate, you really need that safe place to fail. Just like how the Boy Scouts are training these young guys as they're going through and developing these leadership skills. They need a place where they can fail. It's fascinating. My wife and I, when I was telling her this concept, and I had been in Boy Scouts for years, but I had never put that concept together, a safe place to fail. And we're reading a number of parenting books so we can be a little bit better parents with the boys. And one of the things that she is reading in a lot of these books is that you allow kids to fail. In other words, we're not going to badger you about doing your homework. You're going to reap the consequences of not doing that. Waking up in the morning, you're going to reap the consequences, good or bad, of not waking up in the morning. We're not going to rush you off to school. We're not going to run your lunch to school. We're not going to do any of that stuff. If you forget something, you forget it, and you suffer the consequences. Because guess what? If you suffer those consequences enough, you're not going to do it again. So in your real estate business, you need someone that's able, you need a group of people that are able to do that with you.
2 minutes.
And that's what our weekend class is about. It's, hey, look, here's the things that we had challenges with. Here are the ways that you can overcome that. Now, you can go out and do it any of your old way. But trust me, I know it works and I know it doesn't. And a lot of this stuff that gets taught, a lot of these things that get implemented don't work. There is a right way to do this. There are lots of wrong ways to. There are more wrong ways to do this than there are right. One of the things I always get a kick out of, someone says, "Oh, you can just learn all this stuff online." There's a lot of this information that's out there, but there's a lot of really bad information that's out there as well. So you've got to know what you're looking at. One of my favorite online forums that I used to frequent when I first started in real estate, I remember as I was maturing as a real estate investor, I would look at some of these things that would get posted. I'm like, I don't think that's legal. You can't do that in Texas. It was just like, that won't work. It was amazing, all this great advice that was being espoused online, and the vast majority of it wouldn't even work. But in any case, we've got a weekend retreat coming up. It's this weekend. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm pretty sure we still got some spots left. Go to rightpathrealestate.com, sign up for the class. You're really going to enjoy it. You're going to learn a ton of stuff. Even those of y'all that are seasoned investors, guarantee you're going to learn a lot of stuff. We'll start that Friday morning through Sunday. Get out a little early Sunday. And we'll talk about our mastermind class during that event as well. So we get back from the break. We'll talk about failing in a safe place and lessons learned. This is Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate.
Mic's off.
Oh, it's closing date. Ginger, are you closing on that wholesale deal?
On time and with lots of communication.
I know you had some wholesale deal. Are you closing on the buy, or are you closing on
I'm Jennifer
you assigning
Hernandez,
it and getting some money?
Senior loan officer with Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Our goal is to give our borrowers and referral partners an amazing experience during the loan process. My team believes in putting people and culture before results. Our company concentrates on building those teams who operate with structure, process, and recognition for going the extra mile for you. This way, we have the energy to make this your best home purchase ever. Give us a call today to find out the simple steps to get started. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, the Hernandez team at Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Jennifer.legacymutual.com or call 713-579-3611. Again, Jennifer.legacymutual.com. We can't wait to consult with you soon. NMLS 514497.
Equal Housing Opportunity Lender. NMLS 514497.
Real estate investors, if you're not familiar with Quest IRA, let me tell you what you're missing. We've got free weekly educational classes.
If you're not at Quest, you're not even in the game.
And the ability to tap into trillions of dollars for your real estate investing deals. Come by our office or join us remotely as we simulcast all of our educational classes every Tuesday morning and evening. For more information, call us at 1-855-FUN-IRAs or visit our website at questira.com.
The Realty Investment Club of Houston has taught more real estate investors than any other program in the state. Come check us out at richradio.org.
Oh, here we go.
If you're considering learning how to invest in real estate, then richradio.org is the quickest way to learn how to make money in the Houston market. We're not just another guru-driven club. We're a community of Houston's most successful real estate investors. Join our community to learn what it takes to make money in Houston. Visit
Hey, Ginger, take a big non-refundable deposit. It's not earnest money. Non-refundable deposit. So even if they back out, you take that cash and put it right in your pocket. Make sure it's filled out to you, not the title company.
Or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties, whether it's a flip, rehab, or a rental rehab. No more managing it yourself. No more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992.
Fast Track is about to start a job for us. We should talk a little bit about
that. Do you want to learn how to buy 200 houses in less than 3 years? Well, folks, we've done it. This is Jason Bible of Right Path Real Estate. We've got a weekend retreat coming up October 28th, 29th, and 30th here in Houston, Texas at Memorial City Center. We're teaching our students how to find, fund, and market for real estate deals. So if you want to learn how to do 200 houses like we have, come to that event. Go to rightpathrealestate.com or give us a call, 281-888-9555 to sign up for our weekend retreat.
It's estimated that 9 out of 10 individual investors fight a losing battle against the big institutions. So what can you do about it? Hi, I'm Mary Beth Motisi, owner of Online Trading Academy here in Houston. Listen to Power Trading Hour to learn how the markets really work and how to think and act like the professionals. Call us at 281-820-8905 to register for our complimentary half-day class. Find out more at HoustonOTA.com and listen to Power Trading Hour, weekdays at 2 p.m. on Business 1110 KTEK.
Any Jane Doe can tell you that Geico could help you save. But since money talks, we just ask the savings instead.
Greetings and sun salutations. I'm Jane's Money. And I never knew my self-worth until Jane switched her car insurance at Geico.com. Those 15 minutes built me up to real savings. Geico's been helping customers save money like me for over 75 years. So take that to the bank. And namaste.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
This is Business 1110.
2, 1.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate. If you got some real estate questions for us, 713-785-1817. If you want a reminder for the show, so this gets sent out via text message, and it's got a link that you can click on that'll take you right to the Listen Live, so you can listen to us live at any time on your phone. Text LISTEN, LISTEN, to 95577. If you want to be on our buyers list for properties that need some work, go ahead and sign up at 95577. Type in properties to 95577. And some of y'all have sent me text messages and emails and stuff, said, hey, can y'all can we look at some of the houses that you fixed, like they're all rehabbed? If you go to HAR, Houston Area Realtors, HAR.com, and search for our realtor, Audra Diggs. Her last name is spelled Diggs. Audra is the one that lists all of our retail properties. She's also listing, we're actually starting, it's kind of a soft open, a retail brokerage. And we're starting to list some properties for homeowners whose houses are retail ready. And she's got a couple of those listings. I think she's got like 15 houses between us and 2 or 3 other clients. But if you go there, it's easy to tell which houses are Houston house buyers' houses because they all kind of look the same, at least the interior. They're all really nice, but the granite countertops, killing beige on the walls. I mean, it's all you can tell when you start zipping through there how many of these things pretty much look like Houston house buyers' houses. They all kind of have a very similar look, and that's probably a good thing to talk about. In our weekend class, our weekend retreat coming up on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this week, we talk about what really makes money in this business. And some people think that rehabbing the houses is what gives you the return, and nothing could be further from the truth. Where you make your money in real estate is when you purchase the house. That's the only variable you have control over. The only variable you have control over. And it's fascinating to me when I talk with other real estate investors and they say, oh, well, I buy my houses off MLS, or I buy my houses from auctions and these other sorts of things. You have no control over the most critical variable to your business, and that is buying the house. Not to say that MLS is bad or an auction is bad, but you have to be very, very careful. You have to take a lot of emotion out of the buying process when you're in that auction environment, because you can drive the profit right out of the deal very, very quickly, and we've seen it a million times. Now, not to say that those things are bad. Just be very careful when you're doing your numbers to make sure it's still a good deal. However, the only variable you have control over in real estate, true control over, is how much you pay for that house. Somebody had asked me, and actually, this is a question I get a lot, and we'll talk about it in our weekend retreat. How do you evaluate assets, properties that don't have a lot of comparables to that property? In other words, let's say you're in a market, you're buying a house in a market that not a lot of houses have sold into. So let's say there's only 2 comps in the last 12 months. What's your house worth? And you've really got to make a guess at that point. You know, running comparable sales is part art and part science. And we get a lot of engineers and higher end professionals that are very numbers driven. They'll say, well, it's got to be this number. And it's like, it's not. We're not building a manufacturing facility here. This isn't an engineering pursuit. It's part art, part science. And what you're trying to do when you evaluate a deal is get at what it's going to be worth in the eyes of an appraiser when you go to sell or refinance that house. So what do you do in a case in which the comparables, there's just not enough of them to make a rock solid assessment of the value of that property? It's real simple. You just pay less for the house. Let me say that again. In order to take the more risk out of the deal, you pay less for the property, pay less for the asset. The question I always like to ask the mastermind folks, and we've got our mastermind meeting tonight with our mastermind participants, and the question will inevitably come up. Hey, we were looking at this deal. We don't know what it's worth. You know, we were guessing between this and this. And the first question I'll ask is there a number at which you cannot say no? Is there a number in which you cannot say no? In other words, it's so cheap you can't say no. This is so fascinating to me. People will go out and look at properties, and they'll meet with wholesalers and real estate agents, and they won't make an offer. And I'm like, man, when I'm working with wholesalers and real estate agents, make an offer. Now, doing it with a homeowner or an actual owner is a completely different deal. But when you're meeting with a wholesaler or a real estate agent, at least make an offer. You don't know what number they're going to take. But the flip side of that is if they take that number, if they take the number that you're willing to not say no at, what's your downside risk? I mean, there's really not much. Now, I'm going to say this. This is a Donald Trump, something I had read in one of Donald Trump's books years ago. And I know all of a sudden the guy starts running for president and half America hates him, which I find absolutely fascinating since he was so revered prior to the election. But one of the things that in Donald Trump's books he had said is, look, if you manage the downside, all you've got is break even or upside. And he's right. If you manage all the liabilities, if you manage all the stuff where you could lose money, what else is going to happen? You'll break even or make money. So if you manage that downside risk, you'll hear that in the finance industry a lot, downside risk. If you manage the downside risk, what else is left? To break even, which is not great, but you'll live to invest another day. Or more than likely what will happen is you'll make money. When my wife and I did our first 2 flips when we first started in real estate back in 2010, the 2 flips that I did, we had so much equity in them that it would be really difficult for us to lose money. And in fact, our first flip we broke even, and the second one made $2,500, and we had over $100,000 in equity in both of them, and we made some colossal mistakes, but we gave ourselves enough room. If we were to fail, we'd be okay. Does that make sense? Breaking even on a project. I mean, we were doing, in our first 4 deals, and this is the first 4 deals we had ever done, we did over 100, I think at one point it was almost $250,000 in rehab between those 4 houses. Those were the first 4 projects that we ever took on, and we took them on all at the same time. I'll never forget the day I consider myself a real estate investor is when my second son was born, because that was the day I moved in a tenant into one house and a tenant into another. So Carson was born, Sarah's mom flew into town. As soon as Mama Mel got in town, that's what we call Grandma. As soon as Mama Mel got in town, day 2 at the hospital, she came in and I said, okay, is is it okay if I kind of take care of these tenants, get them moved in early? So I snuck off and moved in our 2 tenants early. But that experience on the flip properties that we were doing at the same time was such that we had enough margin to where we weren't going to get killed. One of the things I like to say is we made an excuse to be successful. You've got to give yourself an excuse to be successful. And that is you manage all that downside risk. You're going to mess up a rehab unless you hire somebody like Fast Track, to be quite honest. If you're going to try and manage it yourself, you're going to screw it up. And actually, we goof them up from time to time. You're going to goof up picking the ARV. You're going to goof up paying too much for the house. You might hold it longer. You might not price it right when you sell it. You might pick the wrong real estate agent to sell it. All these things that can possibly go wrong are going to go wrong at some point. And you need to accept that because this is a business. And you can possibly lose money to business. However, if you're managing that downside, the only consequence is going to break even or make some money. That's it. Now, I know for a radio show, this is probably the stuff I shouldn't be talking about. I should be giving you all of the case studies
2 minutes.
Where you make tons and tons of money and you're super successful and all that. And don't get me wrong, our mastermind group and our students that come away from our weekend retreat, we have hours and hours of folks just talking about how successful they are. However, you do have to realize there's some downside risk in there. But if you're managing your business in such a way, those things are relatively limited when they do occur. I'd have to go back and look, but I think last time I looked, we were 197-3. So 197 we made darn good money on, and 3 we lost money on. 197-3. That's a loss ratio of less than 2%. And for a business, especially a new business, that's pretty darn good. So that's what and of course we learned a whole lot. And since then we just don't, the properties that we've lost on, it's fascinating. Quest IRA has their Fright Night coming up, and I think it's Thursday this week.
1 minute.
And they're going to talk about their scary investor stories. And we had Quincy in here earlier this month talking about some of his scary investor stories. And, some of them you lose money on, some of them are scary, and you get out of them, and you end up making a little bit of money on them. But again, let's go back to how I started the show. My son is going into Boy Scouts, and it's a safe place to fail. Can you lose thousands and thousands of dollars in this business? Absolutely, and we see it every single day. However, if you work with a team, those losses are actually much smaller. One of the things I find fascinating is I get called from private lenders all across the country that are in deals that are falling apart. And they say, hey, Jason, we've got this borrower that hasn't paid in 6 months. What do? You foreclose immediately. Now tell me about the rest of the deal. A lot of these things, if you just have good counsel, good advisors, you can survive these deals. We get back from the break, we'll talk more about our weekend retreat and mastermind. This is Jason Bible with Right Path Real Estate.
Mic's off.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties, whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab. We manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 5 years, Fast Track has completed over 500 projects, which has helped us create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992, or on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Investor loans offering up to 100% financing are still available. You just have to know where to look. Look no further than Noble Mortgage. Noble Mortgage is a full-service mortgage company that's been helping investors since 2003. Noble Mortgage offers up to 100% financing to investors that covers purchase, repairs, and closing costs. In addition to private money, Noble Mortgage offers conventional loans, FHA, and even no-income documentation loans for both residential and commercial properties. Call and ask about our 5-point guarantee, which includes free pre-qualifications within 2 business days. Call 713-680-8100 or visit noblemoney.com. That's noblemoney.com. Our team has over 50 years experience in the mortgage industry. Call us today, 713-680-8100, or visit us on the web, noblemoney.com, noblemoney.com.
NMLS 292143, 8203 Willow Place Drive, Houston, Texas, 77070.
From Conroe to Galveston, Orange to Flatonia, and all points in between, Texas General Insurance Agency is trusted by individuals and businesses across the great state of Texas. Whether you're searching for the best auto insurance in Fort Bend, a flood policy for a Galveston Beach property, or coverage for your rental and investment homes in Houston, Texas General Insurance Agency understands your unique needs. Throughout the Lone Star State, their experienced and trusted independent agents offer guidance to clients on the risk-based needs associated with auto and home, investment properties, commercial, and farm and ranch coverage. Their commitment to quality and service allows them to compare multiple markets, coverage, and price to give you the best possible value. Texas General Insurance Agency appreciates the opportunity to learn how they can work for you. Call one of their experienced agents today at 713-622-5977. That's 713-622-5977. Or go to texasgeneralinsurance.com.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers. If you owe the IRS or state-backed taxes and cannot afford to pay them back, there's good news. Due to the financial hardship many are facing in today's economy, the IRS has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative. Qualifying for this program will resolve your tax problem, end all collections, and possibly reduce your back taxes by up to 90%. If you are facing wage garnishments, liens, bank levies, audits, or payroll taxes, it's not too late. Your circumstances may qualify you for this special program.
Hey, Ginger, how much do you think you'll make on that deal?
If you owe the IRS or state-backed taxes and cannot afford to pay them back, there's no need to worry anymore. Call the hotline at Victory Tax Solutions to see if you qualify and potentially save thousands. For this free information, call 800-417-9269. 800-417-9269. That's 800-417-9269.
This
All right,
is
Jay,
Business
hot mics in
1110.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate. If you got real estate questions, 713-785-1817. If you want a reminder for the show, text LISTEN, L-I-S-T-E-N, to 95577. You get a daily text message that'll give you a link to our show that you can listen to live. If you want to buy some properties from us, Heather is a selling machine these days. We got a bunch of stuff we're listing for sale that are for real estate investors. You can text properties to 95577. On a related note, we are doing all of our shows live on Facebook. Actually, the Right Path Real Estate Facebook page. Tom and I, for a while, were switching back and forth between our profile and the Right Path Real Estate page. And the show, thankfully, the show is starting to get so popular that folks keep asking us, like, hey, you keep moving where the show feed goes on Facebook, and it's driving me crazy. So we made an executive decision, hey, everything's going to come out of our Right Path Real Estate Facebook page. So if you click on that, you'll get to see my lovely face in full HD beauty. We got a new camera, which is pretty nice. So you can see the show there. And then we're uploading them to YouTube right now. And I haven't fixed the whole YouTube channel yet, but once we get done with the show, every couple of days, we upload all of those to YouTube. So for the folks that sit there and watch them, watch old shows. And then just as a reminder, we're on TuneIn and iHeartRadio, and our podcasts are uploaded every single day to SoundCloud. In fact, on SoundCloud, we have all of the old shows going all the way back to when we started about 8 months ago. So you can hear some not so great radio starting when we first started out. And then eventually here, we're going to get everything uploaded to iTunes. I'm hoping here in the next couple of weeks iTunes requires a whole bunch of other stuff, but our channel's been approved and all that other stuff. But in any case, so there's a whole lot of places you can listen to us in the event that you want to go back to some of the old shows. So it looks like Ginger, who is one that follows us pretty frequently here on the show, she's going to wholesale her first deal, looks like today. So that's going to be pretty exciting. Hopefully we'll get a report from her next week on how that whole deal, or tomorrow on how that whole deal went. Today I'm talking about a safe place to fail. I was at Boy Scouts this weekend, or actually Cub Scouts with my son this weekend. We were meeting with all the Boy Scout troops, and they were talking about Boy Scouts is a safe place to fail. And when you've got a team that works with you in real estate, anytime you have an issue or it looks like you're going to fail, and really, to be perfectly honest with you, in real estate, I think the only time you truly fail is when you get out of the business, when you stop doing real estate. So I wouldn't call losing money on a deal a failure. I call it an opportunity to learn, because that's a buddy of mine, Chris, came up with the old adage, if you're not earning, you're learning. And I thought that was perfect, because that's exactly true. When you lose money on a deal, and I've threatened to do this, we've got a property we lost money on, and we had all of the wise counsel tell us, a great deal, great deal, great deal. We did it and lost. It's been our biggest loss to date. And we lost money on it, and I sat down and thought, we ought to do a case study, because the problem is every single person out there, if we presented this deal, would do it. I mean, in a heartbeat. And we've made some decisions on why we wouldn't do that deal in the future. And it would make for a pretty interesting case study. But in any case, you need a group of other professionals to bounce ideas off of, to mastermind with. Really, that's what the mastermind concept is. It came from Napoleon Hill, where you sit down and have a discussion. Hey, folks, I'm having this kind of problem, or I'm seeing this kind of success. What are you seeing in your business? That sort of thing. And that's really what our mastermind program is. We get a lot of questions about joining our mastermind. But you have to go through the weekend retreat before you go through mastermind for a couple of reasons. One is we have a really honest discussion over those 3 days, what it takes to be successful in real estate. And you would be amazed how many people who have taken other real estate classes, who have been mentored and coached by other real estate educators, and they don't get the whole story. Let me just put it that way. This business takes some money, it takes some time. Can you do it without money? Absolutely. It's just going to be a bigger uphill struggle. Remember, you're starting a business here. So we have a really honest discussion about what it takes to be successful in this business. And if you're looking to be a wild success after a year, again, that depends on what you consider successful. But this is not hey, in 6 months you'll be a millionaire. Hey, in 2 years, although in 2 years you could do it. Tom and I were actually looking at some numbers a couple of weeks ago, how much money we put into this business and how much equity we have in it in properties. And it's been kind of wild how much equity we've created in a handful of years. Can you do the same thing? Absolutely. But you've got to be 100% committed. The other thing I get all the time is, well, my market is more competitive or this market's less competitive. And I hate to tell you this, folks, especially those of you who listen nationally, there are no non-competitive markets. Wherever there's value, there are real estate investors competing for deals. That's just the reality of business. Now, if you're in an uncompetitive market, more than likely it's because there's not as much value in operating in that marketplace. But just trust me on this one, there's value in all of these marketplaces. All of them are going to be competitive. You're going to have to run this like a business in every single market. Now, if you're someone who's just buying one rental property a year, you can join our mastermind group after we have an interview process, but one house a year isn't really going to, it's great, but it's not really what the program's designed for. It's fascinating. Mr. Famous, who's one of our mastermind students, was in my office, I think it was last week, and he said he joined our mastermind program when we first offered it about 8 months ago. I think it took us about a month to get it started, so he's been in our program for 7 months. And he said, he actually sat down, should have recorded this, and he said, I'm buying too many houses too fast. So He's like, we need to slow down the house buying. So can we put together a marketing program that I only want to buy a house every other month. So he wants to buy 6 houses in 12 months. I said, we can totally do that, Mr. Famous. So we sat down and put together a program in which he's going to buy a house in every other month. Although my prediction is he's going to end up buying more houses than that. And we've got a mechanism to help him with that. We'll actually wholesale the deals on his behalf. But in any case, so it really depends on what your goals are. If you want to buy 5 or 6 houses a year, if you want to buy 50 houses a year, you've got to have some capital, got to have some time, and then you've got to be in a group who's been there, who's been there, done that. And you've also got to be in a group that are people who have those very similar goals. You know, it's amazing to me how many of these real estate education groups that I've been involved in, and I go around the room and I say, hey, how many deals you've bought? Oh, I bought none. How many deals have you bought? Oh, I bought 6. Wow, how many did you buy last month? None. How many did you buy the month before? None. How many did you buy last year? 1. And you're like, well, you're not really doing it. You know, you buy 1 house a year, hey, that's great. But for those of us that want to build a substantial retirement, for those of us that want to make real estate our full-time career, you've got to be in this business. And being in this business is learning and then taking those skills that you learn. You know, the ultimate goal of education is action. So if you're going to all these seminars, if you're meeting with all these different groups, that's great, but you got to take some action. You've got to be buying some houses. That's what action is not. I think what's fascinating is action is not making offers on MLS. Action is not signing up for every wholesaler in town and then just sitting behind your computer and not buying anything. Action is contracting and buying houses. That is action. You need to be contracting and buying houses. Not walking around and looking at houses, not going to networking events. You know, the last event I did with Quest in Seattle, I shared a little thing that Tom and I like to say, and that is networking. The root word is working. I see so many people at networking events that treat it like a middle school dance. It's like the boys are on one side, the girls are on one side, and they're all in their little cliques talking.
2 minutes.
And that's not networking. That's just hanging out, enjoying the open bar. You know, that's not networking. Networking is sitting down, asking specific sets of questions. Networking is, in fact, we've got a whole series on how to network. How do you network? 95% of those people aren't doing deals. It's probably as high as 97%. So you're looking for the 3% of people that are actually doing deals. And then you get into those groups, and then you're trading deals back and forth. And it absolutely does happen. I get deals every single day. Now, we don't buy all of them, but through my networking, we get deals every single day. So that's one way to buy houses. And that's what we talk about in our weekend retreat. There are ways to spend money on marketing, and there's ways to spend time in marketing. But you've got to invest something, time or money. Got to be invested in your business. If you're sitting there hanging out making offers on MLS, or if you're sitting there hanging out making offers on via email, that's not in this business. You're not in this business. You've got to have boots on the ground. You got to be working those leads. You got to be working those wholesalers. You got to work those real estate agents. You got to work the leads that come in, the sellers that call you to go buy houses. You got to work for sale by owners. You got to work Craigslist. You got to work Green Sheet. I mean, there's all these different things. Now, is there going to be a whole lot of work before you buy your first deal? Yes, absolutely. But I'm telling you, if you stick with it, just based on the law of averages alone, you will start buying houses, but you gotta work. We get back from the break. We're going to talk more about our weekend retreat, what we discussed at our weekend retreat. I'm going to pull the agenda up for it. I'll go through the topics, and then we can talk about each one of them real briefly. This is Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate.
Mic's off.
Are you a realtor or seller that is concerned about the new TRID rules and closing on time? I'm Jennifer Hernandez, Senior Loan Officer at Legacy Mutual Mortgage, and we have mastered the 30-day close. We close on time, accurately, and with tons of communication. You'll have a dedicated team of a coordinator and a contract to close associate. Give me a call today at 713-579-3611, and let's talk about how we can help you on your next transaction.
Equal Housing Opportunity Lender. NMLS 514497.
Did you know that there are over $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S.? Imagine if you could use someone's IRA to fund all of your deals. Well, you can. Quest IRA is based locally here in Houston, Texas. At Quest IRA, we offer retirement accounts that can be used to invest in real estate, promissory notes, private entities, and much more. Many of our clients loan money from their IRAs to fund real estate deals all over the country. We don't sell any investments or give advice. However, we do hold free networking events, weekly educational classes, and free consultations with an IRA specialist. For more information, visit our website at questira.com or call us at 1-855-FUN-IRAs. To tap into the $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S., call Quest IRA at 1-855-FUN-IRAs or go to our website, questira.com.
Join a group of hardworking investors willing to share their knowledge and experience with others. We're not just another guru-driven club. We're a community of Houston's most successful real estate investors. Discover more at richradio.org. The Realty Investment Club of Houston, the Rich Club, has taught more real estate investors than any other program in the state. Join the Rich Club and become part of the most informed community in Houston. Quickly discover your investment options. Receive the information you need to get started. Learn what it takes to avoid the pitfalls of real estate investment. You have questions? We have answers. If you're considering investments in Houston's real estate, then richradio.org is the quickest way to join the community and learn how to make money in today's market. Learn more about the education and community at richradio.org. Join our community to learn what it takes to make money in Houston. Visit richradio.org. That's richradio.org.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? I don't think so. Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-344-2066. 800-344-2066. 800-344-2066. That's 800-344-2066. 2066.
Do you want to learn how to buy 200 houses in less than 3 years? Well, folks, we've done it. This is Jason Bible of Right Path Real Estate. We've got a weekend retreat coming up October 28th, 29th, and 30th here in Houston, Texas at Memorial City Center. We're teaching our students how to find, fund, and market for real estate deals. So if you want to learn how to do 200 houses like we have, come to that event. Go to rightpathrealestate.com or give us a call, 281-888-9555 to sign up for our weekend retreat.
Hot mics in 5,
This
4,
is Business
3,
1110.
2, 1.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate. It's a quick segment here. I'm going to go over what we're going to talk about in our weekend retreat starting Friday. If you want to sign up for it, go to rightpathrealestate.com, or you can send Jamie an email, JAMIE, rightpathrealestate.com. We start the event off with Investor Basics Language and Math. I find that whenever we do a class, we've got to get everybody on the same page with language and math. A lot of folks have been in this business for a couple years. Some people are brand new. We got to start at a good foundation, a good baseline. And then the first day, Tom and I spend almost 4 hours talking about where to find deals and how to negotiate those deals. I spend almost 2 hours talking about marketing. And this isn't the kind of like, there's 700 ways to buy a house. There's not. There's about 5. So I spend about 2 hours talking about how to develop a marketing strategy and plan on how to buy houses. And then Tom spends almost 2 hours talking about how to negotiate those deals, how to work a sales process, how to develop a sales funnel, what to say, what not to say. And really, it's a lot of mindset sales training. So you'll find that we're not big fans of scripts because you have to understand the strategy. And if you're reading from a script, you're not going to be able to buy that house. So that's what we do the first day. Second day, I spend almost the whole morning talking about business basics and our business plan that we developed Houston House Buyers out of. Yes, I will share with you the pro forma. In other words, this is how you build you can sit down and actually build a business plan for your business. And it's the one that we built for Houston House Buyers. Quest IRA will also be there that morning for about an hour, talking about how to use a self-directed IRA to invest in all kinds of deals, including real estate notes, non-real estate stuff, private placements, all that sort of thing. They'll be doing that for about an hour. We'll talk about 15 minutes about our mastermind. And then in the afternoon, I'm going to talk about how to fund deals. I'm going to talk about how to be a private lender and how to borrow from private lenders. It's going to be a very interesting discussion. And then the rest of that afternoon is case studies. We're going to have our mastermind students, mastermind participants there talking about the deals that they've done this past 6 and 7 months. And then Fast Track Remodeling, which is a sponsor of the radio show, is going to spend an hour talking about how to estimate rehabs. And they have tons of experience in this. I think their commercial, they've done 400 or 500 houses. They may be up to 600 or 800 at this point. They do a ton of houses, so they're gonna go into that. Day 3 on Sunday, we're gonna have Noble Mortgage in, talking about hard money lending. I'm also going to talk that morning about prudent risk management in borrowing and lending. What does that mean? There are downsides to using all this different types of financing, and there's upsides. So not one type of financing works for every deal. I'm going to spend about an hour that morning talking about that. And then in the afternoon on Sunday, we're going to talk about analyzing markets and deal evaluation. And I'm going to give you the tools for that at the event.
1 minute.
And then at the end of the event on Sunday, Tom and I are going to go through the top 10 things you need to do now to get your business rolling or to take your business to the next level. I'll also tell you this, if you decide or if you're selected to join our mastermind program on Sunday, we're going to have a lunch just for the mastermind folks to get started on that Sunday. So in any case, that's our weekend retreat. If you're interested, go to rightpathrealestate.com or send Jamie an email, jamie@rightpathrealestate.com. Tom will be here tomorrow, and I will see you guys Wednesday.
Put the fear behind you and listen
Mike's
every day
off.
from 9 to
All right.
10 a.m. on Business.
All right, Jay, have a good day. I'll see you on Wednesday.
All right, I'll see you then. Guys on
Bye-bye.
Facebook, thanks for watching.